All right, welcome into Stadium in Maine with Big Worm and Strack. I am Jordan Strack. That is Chris Wormley. We are here on episode 5 as the Michigan Wolverines get set to take on Wisconsin this week. Coming up on Saturday, the big noon kickoff game. I have no idea why, but it is. The Wolverines back home in Ann Arbor this weekend, looking to go do some damage against a Badgers team that is down in a big-time way right now. They are struggling. We are teaming up this year with Blue by 90. Of course, we have new episodes coming out every single Tuesday throughout the football season, so make sure you like and subscribe and share all of the videos. Worm has been putting in a ton of work editing all these videos that you see going up on Instagram, okay? I need everybody to go share those things and like them because, Worm, you're doing a great job and you're working really hard at it, and I want people to be able to see it.
I mean, there was one night last week I was doing a video, spent 2 hours editing it, and somehow I deleted it. And then I'm sitting trying to, my daughter's getting ready for school. We're eating breakfast. I'm over editing, brushing my teeth, editing this video, just trying to get it out on time. And like, a lot of respect to these content creators because it is a pain in my ass to sit there and try and make this video look nice, but we got it up and running. We're learning each week. I hope the videos, the people are enjoying it because I'm spending a lot of time, more time than I thought. But the bye week was a good time to reflect and do some self-scouting on these videos as well.
I want you to know how happy it makes me that you're learning this. Like, I mean, I've been in media and TV and editing and doing all these things I've been doing this stuff forever. And I am loving that you're learning this world, and it's been awesome, and I love it, and it's been so good. So make sure go like all these videos that Worm is editing and putting up on the Instagram because they're really good and because it's fun to watch them. Coming up on today's episode, whatever it is, we're taping at night. You watch it whenever. We're going to look ahead to the Wisconsin game. We're going to do a big game of this or that. So basically, Worm and I are going to go back and forth on who we'd rather have from Michigan history, and I'm sure people are going to say that I'm an idiot. That's totally fine. We'll go do that. And then Grant Perry, former Michigan wide receiver, is going to join us on this week's episode. So that should be fun as well. We'll get Grant on here in just a little bit. First, though, Worm, let's look ahead to Wisconsin. Things right now, not good for the Badgers. They are struggling for sure. Fans were chanting "Fire Fickle" last week when they lost to Maryland. The buyout is roughly $25 to $28 million for Luke Fickell if they want to fire him. I don't know that they've got the money to be able to do that, but he's on the hot seat. I mean, Wisconsin football is in a spot we have not seen them in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, as the temperature drops in Wisconsin, his seat is getting a little hotter and hotter, which could be a good thing. Keep you nice and warm. But yeah, we talked about this maybe a couple of weeks ago with these buyouts and with NIL. Teams just don't have the money. Alabama's coach DeBoer was on the hot seat even after week 1, and I mean he's turned it around really fast. But their buyouts for Dabo and those guys are $50 million plus. They don't have those type of funds when they're trying to build an NFL type roster. But yeah, I think people had a lot of high expectations with Fickell. Ohio State football player, coached under Tressel for a long time. And then went to Cincinnati and had some really good success. They made it to the playoffs that one year with Sauce Gardner and all those players. And then to get, a Power 5, Power 4 team as a head coach now, there was a lot of expectations. And unfortunately, he hasn't lived up to them. But, it's a long season, and I don't think he's going to be fired mid-season. Like you said, you talk about the buyout. He has, a good 2 months to kind of turn things around. But like you said, it's hot. And they're not looking too hot, and I'm excited for them to come into Ann Arbor this Saturday, so Michigan can continue to stay hot.
Yeah. So a couple things against Maryland. This was almost staggering to me. I've never seen a Wisconsin team that I can remember like this. Last week against Maryland, they had 42 rushing attempts for 61 yards. That's 1.5 yards a carry. We have never seen anything like that from Wisconsin. That's just not who they are. I know there has been, some shuffle with the offensive coordinator and the system and all those things. It's not good right now. 1.5 yards a carry at Wisconsin is not good.
I mean, 42 carries sounds like a Wisconsin team, but when had that with 61 yards and not anywhere near When you think about the guys like Rod Dane, who won the Heisman, you look at Monty Ball and Melvin Gordon. You look at guys like Jonathan Taylor, who's tearing it up still in the league with the Colts. It's like the days of Wisconsin leaning on that run game and kind of putting their will and on teams it looks like it's over. You talked about the offensive line; they're struggling a little bit, kind of reshuffling here and there. Are these young running backs to blame, or are they not living up to their expectations? But yeah, when you think of Wisconsin, you think of smash mouth running backs, sometimes 2 or 3 really good running backs at a time. And this season, to start off, it hasn't been that way, which is unlike Wisconsin when you talk about their history of how they've been able to win games throughout their history.
Just a couple notes on Wisconsin things to watch out for. Vinny Anthony, wide receiver, probably their best player, had a kick return for a touchdown at Bama. So he'll impact it on special teams as well. Offensive line, not great run blocking. That's been a struggle for sure. The defense has been pretty good. That is a bright spot. That's been pretty good. Ricardo Hallman is their best cover corner. Probably going to be a very high draft pick. They've got good linebackers. Just some of the things to look forward to if you're a Michigan fan this weekend. But this is not that Wisconsin team that you're used to seeing. All of that said, they are going to have to come in and play their best game. And I think they're going to be ready for the Wolverines. Anytime Michigan comes out, everybody's giving them their best shot.
Yeah, especially with Fickell as their head coach, who played at Ohio State. He's played in front of the Big House, multiple times at the Big House. He's going to have those guys ready. He's going to have those guys fired up because their season, is a make or break. You said there's not a lot more wins on the schedule for them. And, they're going to come out guns a-blazing, looking to put up some points, looking to make a statement and get a signature win, not just for Luke Fickell, but for the entire program, because it's tough sledding, I think, from here on out, especially if they lose against the Wolverines on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big noon kickoff on Fox coming up this Saturday. Let's flip some things around here today. We'll do this or that at the end of the show. Let's get Grant Perry in now. Is that cool with you, Worm?
Yeah,
all right.
Let's do it.
Let's add him in. Hi, Grant. How are you? Welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
My man, Absolutely. Grant Perry, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you, Worm. Appreciate you reaching out and having me come talk some ball, man. Excited to be here.
No doubt.
Sorry, I got to work on my angle here. I got a new camera plugged in, so I apologize.
That's okay. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So Grant, obviously former Michigan wide receiver. Let everybody know what you're doing now. I know you're co-hosting a podcast. I love your X&O breakdowns after games that we're seeing up on the Twitters. You're doing great with that. Loving that stuff. Kind of give everybody an idea what you're up to post football.
Yeah, man. Well, appreciate that. Appreciate the compliment. Yeah, I just always, kind of post football. I coached, for 2 years after I played at Michigan. Student assistant GA type of vibe, role. Coaching and being around the game has always been a part of me. But I stepped away, ended up moving, over to the west side of Michigan, over here in Grand Rapids. Picked up in sales, kind of got away from football, and then I'm like, man, I'm missing something. I got to find a way back, and I got an opportunity to start doing some broadcasting on some high school games and some low level college with Lawrence Tech. And that kind of really sparked the bug. And as I'm, talking on air and kind of describing how these plays go, I'm like, man, this is more like when I sit in my room watching film, this is exactly how I go about things. And it's been a fun challenge, just put myself out there, in the media world as well, just, trying to come at the game from a different angle, but stay near it at the same time. So, just trying to be around the game. And, I anything you see I post online, it's just something that in this room that I see, I go on, I break down, like, dang, like I want to tell somebody about it. If somebody wants to start a conversation, let's talk ball. So that's really the motivation, just trying to stay around ball and provide insight that maybe, some people may find interesting.
Okay. So at the beginning of the show, I talked about how Worm has gotten himself into this podcasting world, and he is starting to edit his own clips of our show and put them out on social media. And he's doing this unbelievable job. Do you like the editing and the grind of going through and doing all of that? Are you doing it yourself, or do you have somebody helping you out?
So I don't do, so for the podcast that we do on with Believe Network, we don't, Brandon Brown handles the most of the
Yep.
editing, and they do a lot of that. But I haven't, but I've done some YouTube videos and done some some clips online of trying to figure out how to write on a screen, but also talk, but also make sure the voice and what you're seeing matches up. So a lot of props to you, Worm, for being able to get in there, under center and try to attack that man. Because this, I mean, I young myself was like, man, I'll never fall out of the wave of technology. Like I'm always gonna stay up, and now I'm like I'm 10 steps behind. So I give you props, Worm.
Well, I reached out to you, Grant, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, bro, like how are you breaking down this film? Because my dumbass, I'm screen recording on Hulu, not knowing that Hulu has some wizardry technology, and they're like, hey, sorry, kid, you can't do this. This is copyright. I'm like, okay, shit. How am I gonna figure this out? So I was trying to break down plays. I think it was the Oklahoma game, and there was a cover zero blitz, and I really wanted to talk about it, and I couldn't figure out the technology, so I just sticking to Instagram edits for now, and they make it pretty user friendly. But yeah, the whole editing and voiceovers and making sure it's timed up properly is a pain, but it makes for great content. It makes for people who might not understand coverages or route combinations and things like that. For you to be able to talk about, I think is huge for people who want to learn a little bit more about the game of football, but like you said, they got jobs and they got kids and they just want to consume instead of study. We'll leave it up to us.
And I'm sure you'll agree with this. Like as hard as it is, or like as daunting as a task, or like even if you complete a video, then as soon as you get to publish, you're like, dang, I already noticed a mistake. Let me go ahead and restart the process. Like the process is hard, but like it's something that you enjoy. You've done your whole life. You played 10 plus more years than I did. So like you've been around it more, and like I guarantee you feel the same way. It's just like giving back, but like you're also not. It's just like something you want to do. You're just expressing yourself and just talking ball, and it comes easy. And seeing people, proud of it and getting a conversation going is, kind of the benefit of that for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Grant, I want to ask you, first off, we always do this. We had Chase Winovich on, we had Mo Hurst on. We always do this. So do you have any good Jim Harbaugh stories? Because everybody that comes on has given us something just electric.
Really? Okay.
So, like Chase,
should we tell them what the stories are?
You heard
was Mo's the hamstring one?
Yes,
Harbaugh popping both hamstrings.
Yeah.
And
right.
Chase
Winovich said that Harbaugh laid on the ground under center because he wanted to watch the quarterback center exchange. So he literally laid down underneath and was looking straight up because he had to get in there himself. And that's such a Harbaugh, like that feels like such a Harbaugh thing. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything good that you can share? This is because I don't know why this has become our thing, but it is, and it's funny. So
yeah, I mean, there's everyone's I'm sure got a story. Man, there's a lot. I'm trying to think of
even like in meetings, because I mean you're a receiver, so you spent a lot more time with him than us defensive guys. So like
I do remember this kind of came to mind, and I don't know if it's more so like maybe you had to be there, but and Worm, do you remember Harbaugh, like if he got an idea in his head or like he wanted to do something or implement something at practice, like that was the main focus. He was going to bring it up to Don Brown or Jed Fish at the time over like, hey, did we get to that? Like, what's it looking like? Who are we going to put in? And he got on one of those tangents like the third week of camp. I can't remember if it was 2016 or 2017, and it's been a long day, and he comes in and he's like, hey, like I think he brought up Alex Malzone maybe, and he's like, hey, I don't like the way you slid right there. Like I want to see you, and we're sitting there like about to go home. It's like 9:30, and sometimes when he comes in and gives those like just off in left field type of debriefs, like they're enjoyable. And this one was one of them. Like we were like tired and like Fish is drilling us with all these plays, so he comes in and he just starts talking to the quarterbacks. So the receivers are in there, tight ends are in there. And he just starts having everyone come down and do practice sliding drills. Like, hey, like literally slide into second base. Like I'm going to stand here and I'm going to judge your slide. And we're all going to go home once everyone has a good slide. So like
on the carpet,
I think just
like in the meeting room,
like I'll say inside the meeting room,
inside the meeting room, right in front in the big, cause we met in this was pre-construction, pre-bowling alley era. We met in the full team room, the receivers and quarterbacks did. So yeah, he got down there and then we started to do, once we all mastered that, we moved on to sliding head first. He's like, hey, sometimes you're not going to be able to slide. And I bet you remember at Wormley, I think it was at Penn State, he gave an introduction to Jake Rudock. He's like, Jake, sometimes you got to fall forwards. Like, they're going to hit you in your mouth. You're always sliding on your butt. So then we all started sliding head first, like no regard for our elbows. And like, it was essentially AstroTurf, like sliding practice. But that's one comes to mind of just like funny off, like in left field, nothing to do with the receivers or tight ends, but we were all slide and learn how to slide. So that was,
so the receivers and tight ends had to slide too?
Yes. And I could be right. It might've been just us receivers, but I feel like there was, cause I was looking around laughing. We were all like, there was multiple people. So I feel like it was tight ends in there as well, but yeah, we were sliding, and it took a few rotations for everyone to go through before he felt we all were sufficient.
But it couldn't even wait until the next morning, because you're talking about camp days are 6 a.m. to 8:30, 9:30 at night. He couldn't even wait. He just had to, hey, we got to figure this out. You know, let's get it going.
And we're watching like 7-on-7. Like, there's not even any D linemen,
no
like in it,
no one's
like
running.
no contact. And like he'd do the thing where he'd like, all right, like he says his piece, 3 clips go by. He's like, well, let's revisit that. So it was kind of one of those. And by the 3rd or 4th, that's when we all started doing quarterback slides. Coach Fish was just like, hey, you got to watch that.
I would have loved to watch that.
There's a lot. That's the one that comes to mind though. Just kind of random, but silly at the same time. If I didn't see Mo tell that hamstring one, that was going to be the one that I told, because I saw that firsthand. I'm sitting behind the quarterbacks. He comes back and he's just like, all right, just keep going. Like I need some help. That was funny too.
Got to wear the core shorts from now on.
Yeah, he was. Can't make the team in a tub.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I want to go back to you talk about when you're breaking down the film. How do you analyze that? Because when I'm watching film, either for when I'm playing or when I'm watching Michigan film, my eyes are, especially when it's Michigan's defense is out there, I'm looking at the D line. I'm looking at the D line, and then if the replay happens or there's a big play or something good happens, I'm like, okay, who made the play? Why'd the play happen? What was the coverage? As a receiver, are you looking at the receivers first? Are you looking at the O-line play? Who are you looking at when you're analyzing film and kind of branching out after that?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of depends. So like if I guess getting into broadcasting kind of has shifted the way I kind of watch film, because like once you start broadcasting, you have to like literally, and this kind of goes into how you watch probably, but you watch literally between the tackles for the snap, and then if it's a run, you stay there, and if it's a pass, then you kind of branch out. All right, what are the routes developing into? And that's the approach that you take with broadcasting. So when I have like live watching a game, that's where I'm eyes on the center to the tackles. And then if it looks like a play action, then I'm like, all right, what's the coverage shell? Like, is it too high safety? That's what I do, if TV copy. If I got time and I'm like going throughout the week, like I'll pull up and I'll just pull up the whole game and I'll go, 0 to 0, first to fourth. But if I'm crunched, I love to do cut ups. Like I have a PFF account, and I mean, the amount of work that those people do on that website is ridiculous. And I'm sure you're well aware, Worm, that was, I know PFS is a big thing in the NFL. It is in college too. And so I'll go on there, I'll do 3rd down, 4th down. I'll sort those by coverages. I like to see, did we get any cover 0 looks? How do we handle those? And then I'll get into whether it's, watching the quarterback throws, I'll sort his, throws over 10 yards or play action, what play actions look like to run. So, I mean, it really is a broad horizon of areas I can attack. But, I'd say, Monday or Tuesday when I'm going back watching the film, I'll start from start to finish for sure.
Yep.
I want to ask you about Michigan's wide receiver play right now. It's been such a hot topic. Everybody's has been crushing the wide receivers lately. What have you seen from the wide receivers? Is it as bad as everybody has made it out to be in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, great question. And I think, that's a question that's on everyone's mind, because it kind of seems like, everything else is moving in the right direction. But the only thing kind of, we're hitting a little speed bump, when we try to, throw the ball. And I do think a lot of that is on the receivers, partially because if you're Chip Lindsey and you got a quarterback, say you're going into Lincoln, right? You want to give him a lot of answers, but you're not trying to make the plate too muddy. So you're going to keep it condensed. You're going to have your set of plays that you like for him. So then it becomes on the receiver. Hey, we got to make plays. Like Channing Goodwin's ball went right off his hands in the back of the end zone. Beautiful ball. And sometimes you can, critique, and the critique on Bryce sometimes is velocity, and does he have a second pitch, right? He's throwing those fastballs. Can he put a little loft on it? And that's going to develop. Like, he'll have that, but as a receiver right now with a young quarterback, like, those guys got to take it upon themselves. Like, you always hear coaches say, like, hey, if that ball is hard to catch, like, go help out the quarterback. And we got to do a lot more of that. And as far as, catching the football, that's one thing. I think McCulley has come on. He has shown that, hey, like, I can be the guy, come to me. As far as tacking the football, hands, contact, being able to break tackles, love what he's doing. Making tough catches, the one versus Oklahoma. I mean, that's probably the best receiver catch we have on the year. As far as though getting open, I think that's where we're struggling. You watch, teams are going man coverage and they're keeping a guy, for Bryce, and then their safeties are rolled down and they're playing one-on-ones on the perimeter. And McCulley's won some of those reps, but when Bryce can't get there, if McCulley's the first receiver, the furthest guy out, like, he's got to have another option. And we saw Klein be kind of that guy, week one, really kind of came on, but that ankle, if you watch Nebraska, he's trying to cut and he's slipping. And it's nothing I'm not familiar with. Like, there was, plenty of years when we were at Michigan Worm and receivers and quarterback play just wasn't clicking and we couldn't get the offense going. And it's really just about that unit. Like, you got to try to block out the noise, come together, really set goals for each other, challenge each other, really go hard, take that extra step in practice. Is the problem, really, really big? Like, I think there's guys that can get in there and make plays, but it's got to be figured out soon because, it's only going to get harder from here on out. And I think that was one of the big differences. You see that Penn State Oregon game, like, Oregon's receivers got open and the quarterback looked comfortable and he knew where to go with the football. Like, if our guys can do the same, we'll be able to win some tough games late in the season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely as the year goes on, like, they're not going to just be able to rely on Bryce breaking free for a 30-yard run. They can't just rely on Justice Haynes and Marshall in the backfield. While those three have been the best players on the offense so far, the receivers have to step up. They have to continue to grow and make plays because with a guy like McCulley, who came over from I think Indiana, there was a lot of hype from him. Marsh had a kind of a few splashes. I think it was maybe the Central Michigan game. And Samaj Morgan's been there and has kind of been, that kind of slot guy that you were at Michigan to make those kind of, crossing routes, or whatever you want to call them, the underneath type stuff to kind of break free with some of those kind of deep balls that, those other receivers can make. But I think over the next 3 or 4 weeks, they have to continue to improve. And I guess that kind of leads into my next thing is 2 weeks ago when they played Nebraska, I thought the front seven of the defense and really the defensive line kind of had their coming out party. 7 sacks. Obviously, Barham's been phenomenal all year and continue that. I thought the young linebackers played really well. Derek Moore continued. I said he had his coming out party. I thought he played really well, got pressures, got a sack and a half. Who do you think, or who are you looking for as a position group? And I mean, for me, my answer would be the receivers. Who are you looking to take that next step and solidify themselves as, Coach Brown back in the day used to call them the dudes. What type of position group, or what position group do you see taking that next step and kind of being the leader on the team?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the receivers. But just to kind of piggyback on what you said, I completely agree. Versus Nebraska, that front seven played fantastic, man. Whether it was the run or the rushing the passer, I think it was 49 sack yardage. We had 49 yards in sacks on Raiola, and we gave up 43 rushing yards. And I know those two stats kind of coincide, but it's pretty impressive of how we were able to box him in. But when I'm looking forward to this week and a potential group to break out, obviously it's the receivers are kind of standing out as far as a group that needs to pick it up. And I think this is a good week to do it. I wrote down some stats here, for Wisconsin, they defensively, sorry, here I got my notes mixed up. Rush pass, 233. Let me slow down here. 234 yards a game given up, like that. There's potential in that. They're also down their starting safety, Preston Zachman, I believe, who leads the team in interceptions. Offensively, there's a lot of question marks as far as quarterback play and for who them. But for us, I think this is a great matchup. I think they're going to try to play Nebraska football and Wisconsin football and try to load the box and stop the run. That's what we saw when we played there, man. Those linebackers that that ended up sprinkling in the NFL everywhere. Like those guys were around the line of scrimmage. They're playing physical. They played that 3-4, that just physical Wisconsin football. And I think it's a little bit of what they've gotten away from and why they struggled. But receivers are going to wake up this game. Hopefully that's my hope. And I believe this is the game to do it. We saw freshman quarterback at Maryland have a lot of success in Wisconsin versus these guys through the air. 2 touchdowns, I believe it was. Alabama at home, had a field day. So I think there's an opportunity for us to kind of get a little bit of rhythm on offense as far as the pass game. Because the major component of the pass game is being able to run the football, right? Get those safeties low. Let's get one-on-one coverage on the perimeter and let's win. So those guys got to win this week. And I think if they have a good week, it's going to kind of roll, a little bit of a snowball effect, hopefully here into the next few weeks.
Yeah, and Worm and I kind of talked about this at the very beginning of the show. Wisconsin, you're so used to them being able to line up and run the football. And last week against Maryland, 42 rushing attempts, only 61 yards. They're averaging 1.5 yards per carry. And for Wisconsin, we've never seen that. Like, as long as I've been alive, I'm 40 years old, and I can't remember a time where they can't run the football. It's a little bit shocking to watch this Wisconsin team. They're not the same team that we have seen over the years. No,
it's not. And I wonder how they're feeling about the departure and the divorce with Paul Chris. Cause like when they had him, they were, and I know there was the East and West divisions and that somewhat helped out Wisconsin, but like they had their identity back then. I watched Jonathan Taylor run for 200, 150 yards on us, just running past safeties, and just watched him, yesterday do that against NFL teams. So like they've gotten a little bit away from that. And I think they used to benefit off of, hey, we're this kind of Midwestern plains. Like we're going to, piggyback on big linemen on both offense and defense. And then we're going to have a great run game. And now our quarterback may not be a 5-star or receivers may not be 5-stars, but when the run game's clicking, we're able to have a quarterback that can find completions, keep the offense moving, and kind of a pro style type of attack. And they've kind of gotten away from that, with Luke Fickell and company. It's more of that kind of 21st century offense where it's kind of RPOs and trying to give the quarterback answers. And I think that's hurt them. And I think we're seeing that. I think obviously the question looming is Luke Fickell and what's his trajectory or time remaining. I think, we got to wait and see it play out, but it's not looking great.
All right, I'm going to ask you, let's have some fun stuff here. If you were playing in today's day and age of NIL and you were able to get a bag while you were at Michigan, how responsible would you have been with your money?
That's a great question. I would like to say, my parents were very involved with, I would tell them hey, they would definitely be involved with my deals and whatnot. Like, can't be out here just running around making deals by myself. I think if that was the case, it'd be bad ball. So thankfully the parents would be, in the know, and they would have say on what I was doing. But I'd say probably 70% responsible. And then you have that 30% of, hey, let's have some fun. But that's also me saying that now. And I've, had a few years post college to mature and whatnot. So maybe 60-40. What would
have been something stupid that you would have purchased?
The upstairs at Skeeps. I would have rented out Skeeps upstairs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had a player do that actually when we were playing there. Something like that. I would have probably bought, some Gatorades for the guys, after a good win or something. Probably another moped. My moped was real shy. I probably would have got a nice moped, or even, try to get a little car or something. I would at least had a good lease deal. That's what I feel like I was worth. At least a lease from a dealership.
You were a moped guy?
Yeah, for a few years there.
I would have loved to have seen Worm's big ass on a moped.
I had one.
Wait, did you really?
I feel like I've seen you on a moped, Worm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had one, and I was coming down one of the streets on campus, and this lady pulled out from the side. She was parked on the side, parallel parked, and pulled out in front of me. And I'm cruising, I was probably going 20 miles an hour because I was 300 pounds, and those things probably were meant for 175-pound players. But so I'm going down the street, and this lady cuts me off, and instead of just rear-ending her and flipping over, I dove, and the axle was all messed up, and I sprained my wrist right before the Michigan State game. Had a cast.
Shit. Did you really?
There was 3 or 4 accidents in that span, a 2 or 3 week span, and Coach Hoke flipped out and was like, if there's one more accident, like taking all the scooters away. And some of those scooters were pretty nice. You know, there's some I had a little $800 one that I got from, I forget what his name was, but it was like Scooter John.
That's where I got mine from. Yeah,
Scooter John had the VIPs, and he, anyways, but I totaled it, and I didn't have enough money to buy another one, and I didn't have insurance because it was a moped, and Michigan has no fault insurance, so the lady got off scot-free, and that was the end of my moped experience. But I loved every minute.
A lot of the mopeds, like, they just tend to find their final parking spot and just kind of stay there until someone else moves it. Like, I
just
feel
roughed
like,
away.
Yeah. Speaking of moped, I got a quick funny story on that. So and it involves Winovich. So I'm leaving, and not really Winovich, but I'm leaving his apartment. This is when he lived at West Quad. West is across from South. He was at West, and he was getting the a Conor McGregor UFC fight. And we were coming back from a game. I forget what game, but he's like, hey, anyone who wants to come and watch. So I went over and watched. I live right across the street at South. So after I'm leaving, it's like probably 1:20. Like those fights end late. So I'm leaving. I'm walking back to South, and it's colder out too. And I see a moped zooming down right past, like behind me on the street, and then it just wipes out. I'm like, oh shit! And like I run over to like check, and it's Reuben Jones, and he's like, bro, like I just hit that ice, man. Like
a Miami kid too. He had no idea.
We're going way too fast for that Michigan sleet. Like, just thought he was in Miami, basically.
Bad ball.
Yeah. So that's my funny moped story there.
I love this, man. See, this is the stuff that people want. Like, we can go X's and O's or whatever. Like, we do that all day. But I like the good, funny Michigan story. I mean, listen, I don't need you guys getting yourselves canceled on the pod, but like, at least giving us some good stories. Like,
yeah, some good insights, some good laughs.
Yeah, that's what the people want. Worm, you gave us a great apartment story back in like episode 2 or 1. I don't know. You gave us some good your tongue or your lip tattoo. That's what it was.
That was a dorm story. That was a dorm story.
That's what it was. And you know what we never did is you never even showed the people on the pod your stupid lip tattoo.
Show the people. The picture is already out there. I don't know if people really want to see that. I don't.
Oh, they do.
I don't know if I don't know if I want to show them.
Oh, okay.
You got to charge for that, Worm. That's extra. That's the locked content.
I blame Sione Homa and Brian Monet because their cousin came and he was giving out $20 tattoos. So
I remember that.
I'll show it. I don't know.
Oh yes, here we go.
Here we go. Big Worm. That's sweet.
That is my $20 tattoo in the dorm room. And
that's a college. That's like the definition of college.
It's supposed to be gone 7 years ago, and it's still here, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So
I was gonna say, I thought that they'd said that like it used to disappear after a while because like 5 or 6 people had them. I was like, dang, you got one too? Wow.
Yeah. So every time, the only time I really notice it is when I go to the dentist and the hygienist is like in my mouth, and she's like, "Oh, nice tattoo." I'm like, "Huh? Oh yeah, I have this stupid ass tattoo from back in 2014."
That's hilarious.
Thank you, Jordan. Thanks for reminding me that.
Man, listen, this is so good, and the screen grab that we're gonna be able to grab of that, it's gonna be great.
That's how you get clicks right there, baby.
That's right. That's what this world's about, Grant and Chris. You guys are learning the media world. It's all about the clicks. It's all about the clicks. Impressions, Chris. Impressions. People need those. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's finish this thing up. We'll let Grant get out of here and go enjoy the rest of his night. Give us an idea what we're looking at this Saturday, Michigan, Wisconsin. Do you have a prediction that you would like to give us?
Yeah. Well, I usually like to look at the lines that Vegas sets. Like that's where I kind of am like, all right, let's see what like these mind readers know, because like they get way too close, way too often. It's
so good,
scary, isn't it?
Like who like what computer is generating these numbers and can I get access, please? But no, so it's like 16 or 15.5. I think I like our chance there. I think we probably win by 3 scores. I think Wisconsin is going to walk into Ann Arbor pretty banged up. Billy Edwards came back last week, but also left again. Coach Fickle said that they felt like they rushed him back. They didn't protect him. So if you're coming out and saying that, you probably are going to lean on the side of not playing him the following week, but we'll see with that bye week they just had. Danny O'Neill, their backup quarterback who's played a lot of this season, is also left last game and is also questionable. Really no answer on him yet. So they possibly are on their third string quarterback. That doesn't really bode well, going against a weak Martindale defense. I think their running back, their starting running back, Dylan Jones, is also questionable. He left last week. And I mentioned their safety as well. And you just sprinkle in already kind of what they've done and who they are statistics wise. I think Michigan, has an advantage. You always got to worry about coming off a bye week, and hopefully the boys are sped up and not kind of still moving in mud or, kind of getting that dust off. But if, I like Michigan this one. I'm going to say by 3 scores at least.
All right. Perfect. Hey, we appreciate you coming on, man. This was fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And give the people one more time. Where can they find all your stuff that you're doing right now so people can follow you?
Yeah, for sure. We're doing a Big Ten podcast on Believe Sports Network. And then we're also doing a Michigan podcast, Believe in Michigan and Believe in the Big Ten. I believe that's the names of them on Believe Sports Network. So yeah, check us out. Love to have you guys on as well. Did a little flip flop here and return the favor. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll definitely hop on, talk a little ball later in the season. But yeah, Grant, thanks for hopping on, brother. Appreciate your insight. Appreciate you giving some funny Harbaugh stories. Those are always great. But yeah, brother, go blue. And I'm excited to continue to watch these boys this season. They've been playing well, but always good to have your insight and knowledge. So thank you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, Worm. And thanks for having me, man. Let's go get them this weekend. Let's come out of the bye week. Let's feel good. Let's come out here and kind of kick them while they're down, if you will, respectfully. I'll talk with you fellas later on this year.
All right, sounds good. That's Grant Perry, former Michigan wide receiver, now turned media guy. He's good. Go on Twitter. You can click on his bio. You can go find all the stuff he's doing. All right, Worm. As we wrap this show up today, we're going to do a little this or that. Basically, we're going to go through. And you're going to have a choice between some Michigan legends, and you and I will both go through and we'll pick which one you want. Now, just for clarity's sake, these are not the greatest players at their individual position. So if we're looking at cornerback, Charles Woodson is not on here. So just to give everybody an idea what we're kind of
that would be too easy, right? Like if Charles Woodson's on there versus anybody, it's
that'd be boring. There's no debating. All right, let's start with if you had your choice of head coach, are you taking Jim Harbaugh or Lloyd Carr? I'll let you go first on this.
I grew up watching, the Lloyd Carr, era was when I started watching Michigan football, all that good stuff. But I played for Harbaugh. I've seen what he's done, not just at Michigan, but everywhere, from the scheme to the culture to really revamping every program that he's been at. I got to go Coach Harbaugh. When he came to Michigan, he inherited, he inherited me, but a bunch of players that were looking for someone to lead them, to change the culture, and he did that. So I got to go Coach Harbaugh on that. Love Coach Carr and what he did for the program. Obviously won a national championship, but I got to go Harbaugh on that one. What do you say?
I grew up smack dab in the middle of the Lloyd Carr era. I watched Michigan dominate Ohio State when I was a kid, and I love Lloyd Carr. It's Jim Harbaugh. And Colin Cowherd said this a couple weeks back, and I thought it was really interesting. He said that Jim Harbaugh is the best, is going to be potentially the best football coach.
He said he is right now.
Yeah. I say potentially. He said he is the best football coach of all time. And I mean, those are big time words. He wins a Super Bowl. I think you have to make the case. I don't know how you can.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the conversation. I'm going to go Jim Harbaugh as well.
Cool.
All right. How about quarterback here? Chad Henne or JJ McCarthy? I'm going first on this one. You know where I'm going because JJ's on my Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. All right.
JJ's on my Mount Rushmore. I love Chad Henne. Again, was a big part of me falling in love with Michigan football. I'm going JJ McCarthy. You know how I feel about him. He went 27-1 as a starter. I feel like he changed the culture. Chad Henne was close, very close. And if there was a 12-team playoff, we would have seen that Michigan team get a real shot and maybe go down in infamy. They didn't. JJ McCarthy did. So I'll go JJ. You go ahead.
I don't know if I'm doing this just because I was, want to go against you or what, but I got to go Chad Henne. I think when I watched Chad Henne back in the day, I thought he could lead They could put the ball in his hands. They could drive down the field, make the passes, make the big plays down the field.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that JJ can't, but a lot of the times JJ played with a lead. A lot of times JJ had Corum in the backfield to lean on. And not to say that Henny didn't have great running backs, but I got to go Chad Henne simply because I think that he could lead. When I look at a quarterback that can lead a comeback, I want the ball in Chad Henne's hands.
All right, I'll take the guy that went 27-1. It's fine. It's no big deal. All right, running back.
It's a team sport. It's It's Aiden Hutchinson, and it's Mikey Sanders still, and it's Will Johnson.
And Jim Harbaugh. Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
It is.
Listen, that's fine. I'm with you. All right, let's go running back.
Are you with me?
No, I'm not. Running back here, Blake Corum or Mike Hart. Now, this is a really tough. I'm not lying to you. This is a tough one because Mike Hart to me he's one of the GOATs. But go ahead, I'll let you go first. Mike Hart or Blake Corum?
Two light skin running backs. If you got a light skin Mount Rushmore, those two are definitely on there for Michigan football. But I'm race aside, skin color aside, even though they're both light skin. I'm going Mike Hart. Mike Hart back in the day could rush 50 times in a game.
I know. 50
times. So not to say that Corum couldn't, and I'm going back and forth and saying, maybe Corum could, but Mike Hart was durable. Corum's had a couple injuries. Mike Hart could rush the ball, run the ball 50 times, and really put the team on his back. I like Mike Hart.
They look very similar when you look at them. Like they're both smaller statured running backs, the big legs, the way they were able to, they could carry a team. I'm going to go Blake Corum. I will go Blake Corum simply because he won the national championship. He was a guy who had a ton of accolades towards the end there, but I will go Blake Corum. You can take Mike Hart. I love Mike Hart. Love. My favorite Michigan running back of all time, just favorite running back of all time, was actually Anthony Thomas. But Blake Corum to me was still, I had him on my Mount Rushmore too. How about offensive line here? Two guys that are kind of similar players. Big left tackles, Jake Long or Taylor Lewan. I'll go first on this one. I'm going Jake Long. I think in that era with that group, those guys all kind of stuck together and all those things. I loved watching Jake Long. He was a prototypical left tackle masher. I mean, he was a guy who had a great NFL career. So did Taylor Lewan. But Jake Long just kind of felt like a Michigan man. I mean, he just kind of felt like a guy who he was built to go to Michigan and play left tackle there. And so I'll go Jake Long.
Yeah, this was probably maybe the hardest one when I was looking at it and thinking about it, because both high draft picks. I mean, I had Jake Long on my Mount Rushmore, so I'm going to go Jake Long, but both crazy athletic for their size, how they can move, how they pass set, how they run block. Like you said, prototypical left tackles where they are passing, protecting the blind side of the quarterback, and then also can get dirty and run block. But I got to go Jake Long. I just think that, especially in that era of football, that era of Michigan football where they're gritty, they're getting after it. Taylor Lewan was, not to say he wasn't, obviously I love Taylor and I was a teammate of his for 2 years, but he was in that kind of Rich Rod area with a lot of passes, a lot of spread offense. Jake Long is, I think, the guy that I look when I think about Michigan O-lineman, I think of Jake Long, and I had him on my Mount Rushmore, so I'm taking Jake Long.
Yeah, I'm with you. I understand that one. All right, let's go. We can speed this thing up a little bit. Tight end, Jake Butt or Colston Loveland? Go ahead, you first.
I mean, you see it, right? You see him up there?
Oh yeah.
I gotta go Jake Butt. Let me put that. I gotta go Jake Butt.
That's such a nice humble brag you've got there with all the your jersey wall.
There's some good names up there.
Yeah.
But when I think of I think Jake would agree with me too, is like Colston Loveland, way better athlete, like faster, stronger, bigger. But Jake had a way of finding the open areas. He had a way of he was kind of like almost like a basketball player out there playing football. He wasn't the biggest, fastest, or strongest, but he knew how to get open. He knew how to make the most plays and get open. He was a Mackey Award winner, I think twice, maybe once, at least once he was as best tight end in college football. I got to give it to him. Although I love Colston Loveland and what he did, but I think Jake had more long. Jake did it for 4 years too at Michigan. Colston, I think it was maybe only 2 or 3, but Jake, from the moment he stepped on campus, he was a safety blanket for the quarterback and continued to progress each year. And I got to give it to Jake.
Yeah, Mackey Award winner in 16. I had to go look that up real quick while we were sitting here. I'm going to go Jake Butt too. I would have loved to have seen a full career for Colston Loveland at Michigan. I think I would have loved to have seen how it would have played out if we would have seen the entire thing, because I think he probably would have been the greatest tight end in Michigan history if we had seen a full set. We didn't get to see the whole thing from him. And I love him, love his skill set. He's an unbelievable player, but I'm going Jake Butt. Wide receiver. This one was maybe the easiest one for me on the list. Just because there's some nostalgia here for me. It's Nico Collins or Braylon Edwards. To me, Braylon Edwards. That one's not hard. I didn't have to debate on that one at all. I love Nico Collins. Again, I would have loved to have seen a little bit longer, a little bit more. Braylon Edwards to me is one of the greatest receivers in Michigan history. The number one, the all of it. Braylon Edwards to me.
Yeah, I agree too. I would have loved for Nico to have a quarterback at Michigan.
I too, yeah.
like Braylon had, and I would have loved to see what he would have been able to do. And I mean, you even think going off of just the this or that, but like Donovan's Peoples-Jones, like I wonder what those two guys would have done with a legit NFL quarterback at Michigan. Yeah. Didn't get to see that. But yeah, definitely Braylon, it's not even nostalgia, it's just pure facts. I think Nico's having a better NFL career than Braylon did. But
that's true.
Braylon Edwards at Michigan as a college player was, I mean, at least of the 21st century, is the best Michigan receiver to play in the last 25 years. So I got to give it to Braylon.
Yep, I'm with you there. All right, let's go to the defense, and we can go through these kind of quick. On the edge.
Whoa. No love. We're not going to spend time talking about the defense, showing them love, breaking down, what makes them great.
Yeah, no, we can.
Right. I know you got to go to bed. You hit 40. You're getting older.
Man, it's getting late here.
All right, whatever. All right, let's roll it. Let's roll it.
I'm kidding. All right, edge. Aiden Hutchinson or Rashawn Gary? This is an interesting one for me. Do you remember the hype that Rashawn Gary came in with? I mean,
recruit.
Yes. I mean,
I was scared. I was scared for my job. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I don't think I've ever even really talked about this, but there was a time where
interesting. Please do.
Willie Henry was a D lineman that came in with me to Michigan. Mm-hmm. He was thinking of either leaving for the draft or coming back for our 5th year, and he decided to leave. And while he was thinking about that, Rashawn was coming in. And I'm like, man, is this guy going to he's the number 1 recruit. He's got all these, and I had the chance to leave too. My 4th year, I had a chance to leave for the NFL, and I got, my grade back, and it was like 4th or 5th round or something like that. I was like, I'll come back, get my degree, all that. I wanted to beat Ohio State. I wanted to win a Big Ten championship, all the stuff that you want as a Michigan player. And then Rashawn comes in. I'm like, damn, are they going to play him over me? Like, what is this going to look like? Because I knew he was going to be, a stud. And the Michigan coaches made me put on weight to play more inside once Willie decided to leave. So I thought I was going to be more of a 3-tech / nose tackle. Fast forward, whatever, like Rashawn was, essentially my backup. And now he's making a lot more money than I ever made in the NFL. He's, he's double-digit sacks. He's all this stuff. And I saw that as a 5th year. I'm like, damn, this kid's going to be something special. All that to say, I'm still taking Aiden. I'm still taking Aiden Hutchinson.
I built
it all up. Not in we talked about it. He's on my Mount Rushmore of Michigan football players. You said JJ changed the culture. I'm saying Aiden Hutchinson changed the culture at Michigan in terms of getting over that hump. And I think they both have, they have a good argument for, both players, but I'm taking Aiden Hutchinson. I thought back then, I don't think they used Rashawn to his full advantage in terms of he played like a 6 technique like me, and he's not a 6 technique. He's a hand in the dirt, third down pass rusher, but can stand up and play outside linebacker like he's doing in Green Bay. So I thought he didn't get his due. He was getting triple teamed, double teamed, all that back in Michigan. So maybe that makes it a little bit interesting in terms of what he would have done if they would have put him in the correct position. But I'm still taking Aiden. I love Rashawn. I love him. Yeah.
My biggest beef for those years, what they did to Rashawn Gary. He was a freak, an absolute freak. And we're seeing it in the NFL now. And I don't feel like his full potential was utilized while he was at Michigan. And that's, to me, it's one of my biggest gripes over the last 2 decades is what they did there. I'm going to take Hutch simply because of the way that, like, when they're, I go back to the Ohio State game and, the snow's coming down. And I think about that day and the way he took over. He put the left tackle on skates on the one viral clip that you see forever. The end of that game, there was no damn way Michigan was losing because of him. I mean, he just said, "There's no chance we're losing this thing. We're not."
It's like a fairy tale, like a football sports fairy tale. Like
it literally was. I remember I was on the sideline for that game, and I remember the cold and the snow and the feeling in that building, and it was like it was the most bizarre atmosphere I'd ever been in, because you could still feel throughout the whole stadium, 110,000 people, there was a nervous energy until the very end. I mean, no one felt good. Even with Michigan up late, nobody felt good. And it was like one of those things where you just kept thinking, oh God, please don't screw this up. And when they did, the way that place exhaled and then everybody runs onto the field, it was one of the more surreal feelings ever. And Hutch took that game over completely and dominated the end of it. And it was an incredible, incredible day. And he had an incredible career. So yeah, I'll go with you on Hutch.
What about JJ McCarthy that game? Where was Cade McNamara was starting that game? Sorry.
How can you sit and hate? Hey, and guess what? JJ could have started that year too and done a lot of what was done in that year.
I will say that situation is very much so like the situation last year in Texas with Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. Is like, JJ probably should have been starting since his freshman year, So like, I joke and poke at that, but Aiden was out there, and McCarthy wasn't.
He was. Never mind the the end of it. But anyway, it's all good. We'll keep moving on here. Let's move on to linebacker. This was kind of an interesting one for me. David Harris or Devin Bush. My initial thought, I was going David Harris. And then I changed it. As I started thinking about it a little bit more, Devin Bush was Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year in 2018, linebacker of the year, 2-time first team All Big Ten. And I remember thinking back to, you think about the Michigan State game, he had the famous day at the Michigan State game. He was a game wrecker. I mean, he was a guy that, like, he didn't care about his body. He just would launch himself and put everything on the line. I'm going to go Devin Bush. When I first looked at this list, I thought David Harris. And then I changed my mind. I'm going Devin Bush.
Are you sure? You seem unsure.
Yeah, that's where I landed. That's where I landed. Okay. I wasn't sure. Right. I wasn't. Right. And then I changed my mind.
All right. I'm going David Harris. When you think of Big Ten linebacker, it's David Harris. He's got the thick neck.
Yeah.
He doesn't say a whole lot. He just plays ball. And Devin maybe should be a safety. He's like 5'10", 220 pounds. David's like 6'3", 240. Like, he's just like prototypical middle linebacker. I loved watching him when he was at Michigan. I loved the style that he played with. But obviously, David's first rounder, Devin's first rounder, all those things, those matter. But when I think of linebacker in the Big Ten, I think of Dave Harris.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I'll be honest with you. I went back and forth on that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to. We're gonna go to corners, and this is Jordan Lewis versus Mikey Sainristil. So Mikey was not a normal, typical like shutdown corner. Jordan Lewis was more of that, like your prototypical like guy on an island. Mikey kind of evolved. Obviously, he made the position change and switched over. I don't know what I want to do on this one. I don't. Mikey to me is one of the all-time like guys at Michigan. Like when you think of like, I don't know, you just think of like legendary guys at Michigan. What Mikey Sainristil did, the way that he switched positions, and you think about a guy giving it up for the team. Mikey's that guy. The play he made at Ohio State in the end zone where he goes up and breaks that ball up, that's a moment. Like that's something that'll go down. It's a moment forever. I don't know. You go first, and then I'll pick on this one.
I went Jordan Lewis, and I think I went with Jordan. I played with Jordan for 4 years. I saw him a lot more. I think you're right in terms of Mikey being like that. He had that moment, and Jordan had that moment too against Wisconsin in 2016 with the one-handed pick to kind of seal the game. But that moment against Ohio State is huge, and I think people remember that for decades to come.
What you do against Ohio State counts for a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah. But in terms, like you said, of shutdown corner, I remember when we would game plan and they would give Jordan the best receiver.
Yeah.
He would travel with the best receivers from Ohio State, from Michigan State back then when they had some good receivers. Jordan traveled and wanted that smoke. And I don't know if Mikey did or not, but I got to go Jordan just because I saw what he did week in and week out for 4 years. Really was a good player for a long time for Michigan when he was there.
I guess if it comes down to like a pure corner that's has to cover the other team's best player, then yeah, you're going Jordan Lewis. But if you're talking about like a guy, Mikey Sainristil had the pick in the national championship game. Mikey, he did a lot and was another one of those program changers. I think about the guys that were, I think are program changers. It was Hutch, it was Blake Corum, it was JJ, and it was Mikey Sainristil. Like those were program changers. In terms of pure corner talent, I'll go Jordan Lewis, but Mikey was a dude. He really was.
So who are you choosing? Who are you choosing?
I'll go Jordan Lewis with you.
Okay. All right.
In terms of a pure corner.
Yep.
All right. Safety. Jabril Peppers or Dax Hill. Dax Hill came in as a 5-star guy, had a ton, and so did Jabril Peppers. You remember Jabril had the announcement on ESPN and all those things, and he was a incredible talent. He did stuff on offense and special teams that we haven't seen from other guys. I still felt like, and I do to this day, I felt like there was more in the tank at Michigan for Jabril Peppers.
Oh yeah.
I think there was more in the tank, and I have always. He's another one of those guys like Rashawn Gary who came in with all the hype and all those things.
Same high school too. From the same high school.
Yeah. Yep. In Jersey. I'll go Jabril Peppers, but Dax Hill was a really good player too.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go. I played with Jabril for 3 years and was on the defense when he was a Heisman finalist, but he didn't play safety during that year. He was more of like I think we called it a Viper back then. He was next to me as like an outside linebacker. Like, I'm taking up double teams and he's, free making TFLs or whatever. But as a pure like safety, I think I'm going to go Dax Hill. Yeah. Just based off of his play as a pure safety and the way that he could cover and the way he could come down and play the run. I'm going to go Dax Hill. But I mean, if you're talking about just pure player, I would go Jabril.
Right.
We're talking.
That's kind of what I did. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go Dax Hill on this.
All right. Last one. Friend of the program, Mo Hurst.
Somewhere down here. There he is.
Yeah, go ahead. You're another humble brag from Worm.
But I got a good rotation going on. A good
and
collection.
Brandon Graham actually is one of my all-time favorite players. I I love Brandon Graham. The way that he would chirp in the NFL, like
Oh, if I get if
the
I
the mic'd up clips. Oh,
if we get Brandon Graham on the pod this year or years to
are you
come,
gonna?
I have a story from him personally that like he got me. So like I'll
Oh,
save it for then, but we'll talk about it.
listen.
We'll talk about it
Okay.
if and when he comes on.
Well, you're the guy that's pulling the guests. So like flex the muscle and get us Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear it, and I want to just hear him talk ball. Because he's one of my all-time favorites. Love him. Anyway, back to the thing at hand. This or that. Defensive line: Mo Hurst or Chris Jenkins? Chris Jenkins again was part of that national title group. I'm gonna go Mo Hurst though. I think the accolades, the player, the attention that he drew. I'll go Mo Hurst. I think Mo was more of a guy that teams were like always thinking about. Not saying that Chris Jenkins was forgotten. I just think other teams were more focused on Mo Hurst when they played against Michigan. I'll go Mo.
Yeah, I mean, not only is he one of my best friends, but I think his career at Michigan was overall. And the crazy thing is, Mo didn't start until his senior year, and then became an All-American. But he made impact plays from the time he was a freshman all the way through his career. I love the way that Chris Jenkins plays. I think he plays similar to how I played, and now in the NFL, I think he's having a hell of a career already as just a second year. But when you talk about college, you talk about the accolades, you talk about how teams had to game plan against a certain player. People paid a lot of attention and a lot of focus and a lot of schemed up plays to run away from Mo, to double team Mo, to really try and take him out of the game. And especially that last year in 2017, they didn't do a great job of that. Mo, like I said, he was an All-American, and I'm gonna go Mo on this one.
All right, that was fun. This is our longest show yet, of course, and we did it on a bye week where we didn't even have a game to break down or anything. We're over an hour today, so hopefully somebody stuck around. If anybody stuck around for the full hour, we appreciate it. I hope they did. I thought it was fun.
Oh yeah. Grant was great. Grant gave us a good perspective. Good. And then this or that was good as well. So hopefully people tuned in. Hopefully people, comment who they would have chose and get the conversation going.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Michigan plays Wisconsin this week, coming up Saturday. Big noon kickoff in Ann Arbor, and we're looking forward to it. Michigan trying to pick up another win coming off the bye. We will be back here next week. Remember, every Tuesday we drop new episodes here of Stadium in Maine with Big Worm and Strack. We appreciate you all sticking around this week, and we will see you back here next week. Make sure you like and subscribe and share all the things on Instagram that Worm's working so hard on. Please, just make it feel good. Yeah, make him feel good. Give him some shares. All right, Worm, we'll see you back here next week.
Yes, sir. Go Blue.
Go Blue.